Guys, what's going on? Welcome to this episode of Pete's 2 Cents. It's been a little while. I have been so flat out, guys, with the kids. I tell you what, any of you guys out there with kids between the age of 3 and 5 probably know what I mean. And I mean, I'm sure it's the same for kids outside that age bracket as well, but that is the age of the kids that I currently have, and they are just full on, constantly full of beans, constantly needing attention. And I do a lot of the heavy lifting at home with, well, I was going to say daddy daycare. I sort of hang out with them quite a lot during the week. So it's been tough to try and get a lot of work done recently. But that doesn't mean I can't do Pete's 2 Cents episodes. So yeah, I guess no excuses, guys, but that's what I've been up to. Busy with the kids, lots of family events, we're ramping up to Christmas time. So whether or not you guys are celebrating it, Christian, not Christian, whatever, I hope you guys are all well. I hope you're having a good holiday period. I hope everything is winding down for you wherever you're working, and I hope you get to see a lot of family and friends during this period of the year. So I put out a little Q&A on Instagram and asked you guys if you had any questions. I can answer them, obviously, and make a Pete's 2 Cents episode. But also if you had questions specifically about Christmas, we could go through those and see where we go. So I've opened it up here. I'll do as many as I can, okay? So Renan Rocha is from Brazil, I imagine, and he's asked, where do you live and have you been to Brazil? So I live in the state of Victoria, near Geelong, outside of the city of Geelong, which is the second largest city in the state of Victoria. And Victoria is a relatively small state compared to other Australian states in the southeast of the country. So yeah, that's where I am, and it's going to be hot this week. So it's a beautiful place, I recommend you guys come and check it out if you're in Australia or planning to come here, especially places like the Great Ocean Road and the Grampians. This is sort of like a bushy area in the west of Victoria with really cool mountains, hikes. It's pretty cool to go out there. Also, Wilson's Prom is beautiful. What else? Gippsland is beautiful. And Kosciuszko National Park's really nice. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of places around here that you should check out if you come to Australia. I've never been to Brazil, so no. Excuse me. I have not. I want to go. It's just so expensive and so far away. So it's a lot of work with 2 kids too. My wife and I were planning to go there during COVID. We had saved up. I think we'd even bought tickets, if I remember correctly. But COVID happened and everything kind of got delayed, postponed, and then it didn't, we were thinking, we'll still go months into the pandemic. And then I think we just ended up getting refunded all of our flight money. So it didn't happen. And then we had a second kid on the way. So obviously it's been a while, and we then bought a house a few years ago. So it's just been hard to come up with enough money, I think, to get to Brazil. We would love to go. Her family's from the north in Maranhão, São Luís, and it's just a lot of effort. I think it would be at least 3 different flights, probably. You guys would know better than me, you Brazilians, but I think we would have to fly to probably, God, where would it be? It'd be like Hawaii, then the US, and then probably down south, obviously, to Sao Paulo or Rio or something like that, and then we would have to fly up to Maranhão. So it'd be a lot of work. But I still haven't met her family. I would love to do that. I think her sister's going to come out here in the new year. So hopefully early next year she'll come out and I'll get to meet her, and she'll get to meet her niece and nephew, which would be awesome, and see her sister for the first time in probably about 10 years. I think it's been almost 10 years since Kel's gone home. So anyway, yes, that's the current state of affairs with going to Brazil. Okay, here we go. This one comes from Sun Kite. Or Kitey. Hello. First, I'm a big fan of you. So thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. I really wonder why Aussies say tar when food is served. So let's see. I've got ChatGPT here, and it seems to be really good quite often with looking up the origins of these types of slang terms. So I will open it up and I will see if it has an answer to that question, because I don't know off the top of my head why Australians say ta? Where does it come from? So why do Australians say ta for thanks, and where does it originate? Let's see. It's just got to load up. The internet is being very, very slow at the moment. Tell you what, guys, Australian internet is just atrocious at times. I honestly don't get it. It's just awful. And I've just lost what I was asking. Okay, why do Aussies say ta for thanks, and where does it come from? All right, let's see what it says here. Okay, thinking. Or is it just my awful internet connection? Okay, here we go. Australians say ta is a casual and informal way of saying thank you. Yep, so can you pass me the salt? Ta. The origin of ta can be traced back to British English, particularly from northern England and Scotland, where it has been used for centuries. It likely derives from the Scandinavian word tuck, tuck spelled T-A-K, meaning thank you, which influenced certain dialects of English. Australians are known for their laid-back and friendly culture, and ta fits well with the Aussie tendency to shorten and simplify words like arvo for afternoon and servo for service station. So there you go, guys. That is where it comes from and why we use it. It is just this easy, quick sort of slang term that we can use to say thank you. And it's very common, particularly with kids. We use it with kids all the time because it's obviously just a very easy word for children to say, instead of having to try and say thanks, which has like a TH in it, and, this sound, the NG kind of sound with a K after it and an S. It's easy to just say ta, right? So I would imagine that's why. It's quick, it's easy, it's informal, it's fun. But yeah, it's used all over the place. You may hear adults using it frequently as well. Okay, this one comes from Susanna.mv 2015. When is Christmas celebrated in Australia? I'm from Peru. So I guess when you say when is Christmas celebrated, you're asking about like the most important day of Christmas. When do we celebrate it? When I was growing up, it was always Christmas Day, the 25th of December. And it's interesting because with my wife, when I talk to her, she's always like, it's the 24th for us in Brazil. And I guess that's, so what is that? Brazil's very Catholic, and they have, they have Mass, I think. So they have like a late Mass on Saturday on the 24th. And they have loads of, events and catching up with friends and family and having a really big dinner. And so for me, when I was growing up, Christmas Eve was always catching up with my uncle and auntie's family and my family. And then Christmas Day was usually the huge get together with my mum's parents at their house, and so my grandparents, and all of our extended family. So, cousins, second cousins, uncles, aunties, great aunts, great uncles. There were always loads of people that would come to that event, and that would be the big one. So usually the 25th, at least for me. But Australia is so culturally diverse now, with so many different groups of people, especially, people who are Christians, whether they're Catholic, Protestant, whatever, that I'm sure it differs depending on, what your background is. But it's usually either, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Let's keep going. So SPR07, what do you usually do for Christmas and New Year's Day? So for Christmas Day, as I said, back in the day when I was younger, I would often catch up with my grandparents, and they would have a huge event at their house with probably 20 or 30 people, which was big for me growing up, if we went to a family event with that many people. We would show up a bit before lunch. We would usually kind of just hang out and talk, and, Nana and Grandpa would be cooking. People in the family would usually bring dishes to sort of help out. So, like my mother might have been asked to make a pasta or a salad or something. Someone else may have been asked to bring soft drink or beer or, whatever it is. So everyone usually brings a plate of something that they've been asked to sort of contribute. You bring all the Christmas presents that you have for everyone, and you put them under the tree. And my grandparents would usually have a pine tree that had been cut down, and they would have it in the corner of their house, and all the presents and everything would be under that. There'd be decorations in the tree, related to Christmas, Australian animals, all sorts of stuff. There'd be like biscuits, coffee, tea, all that sort of stuff out for everyone who wanted it. I would usually go to the back of the house into the backyard and hang out there with the other younger kids, in the family. So my cousins, my sister, whoever was there, and we would usually, be playing outside or hanging outside, hanging out outside and just talking, doing everything there. And then when lunchtime would come around, we would, gosh, I can't remember now. Would we do the gifts before? I think we did the gifts before lunch. So we would sit around the Christmas tree just before lunchtime, and each family would take their turn at handing out the different gifts to different members of the family. And usually the children would be the ones who would help out and actually give the gifts out. So my mum might have like a big tub that has all the different presents for all the different people in the family, and she would get me and my sister to hand them out. She would give us the presents and say, this is for Uncle Paul, or this is for Auntie Sarah, or this is for your cousin Dave, and we would have to go give them out. So we'd take turns doing all of that until that was done. And then I think we would have lunch, and it would often be 3 meals. So we would have like an entree, which might be, a salad or something sort of small. Then there would be the main, which was often some kind of roast meat. It could be like roast lamb, roast chicken, or roast turkey, probably a combination of all these things, because people have different tastes. That would also include vegetables, so you would have like your meat and 3 veg type roast, so you potatoes, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, capsicum, all that sort of stuff. Interestingly, they would always have like canned peaches, so half cut peaches in juice that you would also have during the main. You could have drinks. They could be alcoholic. They could be just soft drink or juice or whatever you want, water. And then for dessert, there would be, obviously, yeah, you would have dessert as the third meal that would come out after that. And one of the cool things that my grandmother did every single time we had the Christmas dinner, she would make, I think, like it was like a fruit cake pudding type thing, and like a very dense fruit cake. And they would pour rum onto it and light it on fire. It would burn off very quickly. It wouldn't be like a massive fire, but it was just cool. And there would be coins. She would put old Australian coins in it, like shillings. I can't even remember the different currencies. There'd be 3 or 4 different coin sizes, and they would be hidden in the cake. And they were specifically for kids when they got their piece of cake. They could go to Nana and we could give her these coins, and she would exchange them for, 20 cents, 50 cents, whatever it was that they were worth. So it was an interesting little ritual, a bit of fun that we used to do. I kind of miss that. And then afterwards we would just hang out, usually I think my family, we would hang out until about dinner time, so like 5 o'clock at night. Sometimes we would stay for dinner and just have leftovers. But my mum would always want to hang out and try and help clean up everything, because usually the rest of the family bailed, and my grandparents would be left, with all the cleaning up by themselves. So we would often stay until sort of later in the afternoon, and then I guess that would be sort of the day. You would go home and then just sort of chill out. And then for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, usually I would hang out with my parents and their friends that would come over. So we would just have like a barbecue or something and just chill out. And there would be, often the TV would be on. You'd watch the 9 o'clock fireworks for younger kids, and then there would be fireworks on obviously at midnight. You'd watch the Sydney fireworks when they happen. There'd also be local fireworks. So a few times I would go down the beach with friends, and you would watch the fireworks that would be set off the Barwon Heads Bluff, which is this kind of like cliff near Ocean Grove Beach that everyone can see, because it's obviously quite large and in the distance. And they put fireworks up on there and shoot them up into the sky. So you'd often go down the beach with mates and just watch those when they happen. And then what else? Yeah, that would usually be it. So I think at the moment it's the kind of thing where I tend to hang out with my folks, and at their place, and we have a barbecue. Mum and Dad will have some friends over, and we'll probably get into the whiskey at the end of the night and sort of just taste some of the different whiskies that we have in our collection, and sort of just hang out, shoot the breeze, and have fun. So yeah, it'd be interesting to hear from you guys what you guys do for Christmas and for New Year's, because it's so different depending on where you are in the world, which is always really fascinating. Okay, this one comes from Saba 2024 Growth. A question from my kid: does Santa wear summer clothes in Australia? What does he look like? Good question. I think typically he looks like the Northern Hemisphere Santa with like just the standard red and white, what is it, kind of like tracksuit. It's just the outfit on, with his red and white jacket, his red and white hat, big white beard, and his sack of presents and everything. But every now and then you will see in Australia the kind of art or pictures, images, ads, things depicting Santa at the beach or, by the pool, and his outfit might have been reduced to a singlet and some shorts, but still be red and white, and he still has his hat on. So you will see that kind of depiction of Santa in more summer attire, enjoying the beach or being beside the pool, or wearing thongs and running around the outback or whatever with sunglasses on. You will see that all the time in Australia. That is very common. So I think either one would be pretty common. But like, we went and saw Santa a while back at the start of December, so my kids could get some photos with him, just as a little fun family thing to do. And he was, I'm thinking back at it, he was just wearing the standard attire, the long pants, the black boots, the jacket and the hat and everything like that. So it would be interesting if you showed up one day with your kids and he was in thongs and a singlet. You'd be like, what happened to Santa? Maybe he would do that if it was like a 40-degree day or something. All right. Next one. This one comes from Ahmed Reza. What places of the city people should try to find you first? I'm not 100% sure. You mean if I'm just walking around? Where should people try and find me? I mean, I don't really go to Melbourne that often, so good luck if that's what you mean, like the city of Melbourne. And in Geelong, sometimes I'm in the mall, I guess. But, guys, I think I need to organise a get-together at some point where we can all catch up and hang out. If you guys are local in Melbourne, I probably need to just say, hey, do you want to come and have a public barbecue or something at Eastern Beach? And we should probably do that. I should do that and see if you guys want to do it. In fact, let me know if you hear this and you're interested in catching up and having a, yarn with me and meeting other Aussie English fans and everything. Send me a message on Instagram. So just search for Aussie English on his Instagram. You should find me and send me a message. Send me a message saying I would be interested in a meetup, so that I can get an idea. Because, sometimes I have these ideas and I'll ask you guys and no one messages me. But then other times I'll float something, I'll say something and I'll get like a dozen messages. So obviously it'll be something that you would be interested in. So shoot me a message on Instagram if you'd be interested in catching up with me and other Aussie English fans and English learners. Okay, Snooker Snaps. One of my mates asked me to join for Christmas at his home. I'm not sure what to take, beers or what to carry. I guess you would ask what kind of event it is, I mean, like, is it a lunch? Is it a dinner? Is it an afternoon tea? And you would just say to him, how can I help? I want to help out. I want to bring something. What can I do? What can I bring? What can I get? So I would start there, and then you can either make something, and this is quite cool. If you're from another country, quite often, if it were me, I would be like, man, make a traditional food or something a food that you're comfortable making that you would make back home. Bring something interesting, bring something new. You don't have to just go to the shops and bring some chips or something. If you can be bothered, make something from your home country and share a bit of your culture with me and my family and everything like that. I love that sort of stuff, And as an example, we're doing, I think for Christmas Eve, my wife tends to each year do a Brazilian party. So I think we've got a whole bunch of Brazilian friends coming over, and they'll together sort of cook up a storm in the kitchen, doing feijoada, which is like bean and meat soup with like rice, and farofa, which is that cassava flour with onion and bacon and stuff in it. It's absolutely amazing. So it'll probably be like a barbecue, loads of meat, and Brazilian desserts and drinks and all sorts of stuff. And we've got like my parents will be coming over. I don't know if my sister is, but there'll probably be a whole bunch of non-Brazilian Australians coming over as well to kind of experience that and share that culture. She loves doing this each year, so that's a lot of fun. But yeah, if in doubt, show up with some drinks, show up with some dip, some chips, some meat and cheese. You could just go to Woolies or Coles or whatever and look for some of those meat and cheese platters, if that makes sense, and bring one of those. But to be honest, I would just ask and just say, what can I bring? Literally that. What can I bring, mate? What can I bring? Bring. Amir Fareh asks, why is Santa wearing warm clothes in the middle of summer? Yeah, exactly. We covered that just before. It's a good question. I think it's just because we're so used to seeing the Northern Hemisphere style Santa. That's where it originated from, Europe. And it was associated with the cold, with snow, with pine trees. We don't have pine trees native to Australia, right? Yet we all associate them. Same with reindeer. The tinsel on your Christmas tree is meant to represent snow. Apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but Santa being red and white is meant to be, and presents under the Christmas tree, it's meant to be associated with or represent those red and white mushrooms that are hallucinogenic, that actually grow at the bottom of pine trees. And in our history, for thousands of years, a lot of people actually use these medicinally, probably recreationally as well, to hallucinate and have fun, recreational drugs back in the Iron Age or whatever. If you look into it, I think there's some kind of association with those things and the presents under the Christmas tree and the color of Santa and everything like that, which is really interesting. But yes, it doesn't really make much sense in Australia that we celebrate Christmas with all of these things that are not Australian, whether it's related to our climate, the animals that live here. But you will see quite often, loads of Australian takes on Christmas. You'll see the kangaroos wearing a Christmas hat, or perhaps there'll be Santa and his sleigh will be getting pulled by dingoes instead of reindeer. We try and put our spin on things. We try and make Christmas Australian. But yes, you will see a sleigh, which makes no sense if there's no snow, right? And you'll see reindeer. You'll be like, are these guys getting hot? How are they dealing with the summer heat? Okay, this one comes from Giant Hogweed. What's up with Northern Territory and Alice in particular, the riots last year and all that? Oh, okay, so this is off topic. I don't know that much about it, to be honest, but from what I've read and heard, there's just a lot of tension between the Indigenous people and the non-Indigenous people in these areas. And the cultures are just very different. Indigenous culture is really different from, Western culture in Australia. And we have a long history of these people being displaced, disenfranchised. They're poor. They don't have the educational, things that we get in the large cities. And it's just, yeah, I can't imagine what it's like out there. But apparently that's a big part of it. These tensions between, say, the business owners and tourists and everything in places like Alice Springs and the Indigenous people there who are, disenfranchised. So, but yeah, I would probably not rely on my 2 cents and instead do some research on Google or in some books, try and find out more about what's actually going on there. I've never actually been to Alice Springs. I would love to go at some point, but yeah, haven't been. Okay, Julia says, hey, so happy to see you. How's your Xmas prep or Christmas prep going? Yeah, it's not bad. We've done all the gifts. So where are they? They're hiding in the garage at the moment. We got our kids' gifts. We got my family gifts, my parents, my sister's family. And my wife had a day off this week and was wrapping them like crazy. I helped her out with that. She had some massive ones for the kids, and I'm like, geez, we're gonna have to use multiple multiple wraps of Christmas paper to wrap up these presents. So yeah, that's good. That's all organized. Besides that, we mainly just get invited to things, and then just keep them in the calendar so that we don't forget. And that's all there really is to do it. But yeah, what about you guys? You'll have to let me know. You know, Julia too, you chat to me quite a bit on Instagram. Send me a message and tell me what you guys are doing for Christmas and how everything's going there. Tatsuki says, hey man, how many different kinds of shit do you guys have? Bullshit, horse shit, ape shit. Sorry about it being off topic. Man, it's absolutely fine. We have shitloads. There's lots. Piss and shit in particular, and fuck, I guess. Any of these swear words, we typically have loads of different expressions and meanings. And it's interesting because, like, bullshit means, like, lies. If someone's, spinning some bullshit, saying something that's bullshit, it's garbage, it's lies, it's something that's not true. It's fabricated, it's fiction. Horseshit can be the same. That's horseshit, mate. You know, that's bullshit, that's lies. But then apeshit is usually if you go apeshit, and it's to like go crazy, get really angry, to go nuts. You know, he found out that he owed $50,000 to the bank, and he went apeshit. You know, he lost his shit. There's another one. To lose your shit is to get angry, to get upset, to go crazy, to lose your shit. There's tons of them though. Like, what did I say before? Shitload is a lot of something. Shit for brains is someone who's an idiot. Dumb as shit, you know, someone who's very dumb. A little shit is like usually a child that is like really naughty. Oh, he's a little shit, you know. There's tons of them. There's honestly tons of them. So yeah, the good thing is I've put together a slang book, and I'm actually doing two. I'm doing a polite version and a rude version, and I think I will have a whole heap in there with shit that you'll be able to sink your teeth into, and that'll be coming out next year. All right, last one. This one comes from Annie Graham 91. I'm an atheist. I don't celebrate Christmas. How do Aussies deal with this type of things? Well, to be honest, mate, I'm an atheist as well, and I celebrate Christmas. So it's one of those things where it's to each their own. If you don't, it's not a problem at all. I don't think anyone's going to be offended. It's mainly, you know, for someone like me, where it's not really a Christian thing. I don't think about it in the context of Christianity. I think about it more in the context of just family, socializing, being thankful for what we have, giving to people, and spending time with friends and family. So I think it can be what you make of it. You can make it about Christianity as much as you want to do in Australia. You know, there's definitely services at churches. There'll be all kinds of Christian celebrations during this period that you can go to or be involved in. But the majority of Australia, I would say, is non-Christian, they're not celebrating it in a Christian sense. They're just sort of enjoying the holidays and hanging out with friends and family and being thankful. So I would just do that. You know, you make of it whatever you want. You can have parties on different days. You don't even necessarily need to do it on the specific days, you know, the 24th or the 25th. You can just do it whenever. But it's just a time of the year to sort of chill out, be thankful, hang out with mates and enjoy yourself. So yeah, anyway, good questions, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I'll try and do some more in the future. But yeah, don't forget, go over to Instagram if you think it's a good idea that we try and organise a meetup in maybe Geelong or something sometime, and send me a message and just say, yes, meetup, yes. Give me an idea of whether or not you're keen on it. But yeah, thank you for joining me. I wish you guys all a very Merry Christmas, and I'll chat to you soon. Tooroo.